I now call to order this regular session, Nogales Housing Authority Board of Commissioners meeting at 5:47 here at City Council Hall Complex Council Chambers. Call this meeting to order, and will you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilman Young, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Do we have any calls to the public? We don't. Okay, seeing none, we're going to go ahead for the housing resolutions under 4.1, consideration and possible action of Housing Resolution 2018-10-01, a resolution of the Board of Commissioners of the Housing Authority of the City of Nogales approving and adopting the amended PH annual plan for fiscal year 2018. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay. Second. Okay. Open for discussion. Yes,
I'd just like to...
Commissioner Marone.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to ask Mr. Padilla a question about how the amended, how his working relationship is with the state staff, because I know there was some problems with this amendment. And I also want to find out about the $600,000 that was a carryover from 16-17. What happened to that $600,000?
My relationship with the HUD staff is very good. I feel confident talking to them. Any question that arise about the process of all the functions of the housing authority in Nogales, they are very helpful. On the $600,000 that was getting back from HUD, that monies were for various fiscal years. I think that they started on part of 14, very minimal amounts on 14 and 15, and then most of it was fiscal year 16 and 17, all 17 fiscal years. And those monies we cannot get them back, so let's think that starting over on future fiscal years.
Yes, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's just unfortunate, Mr. Mayor, because we lost then $600,000 of improvements that we could have done to the housing authority over there, and it's unfortunate because we pay people to get our job done on our behalf, and the job wasn't done, and it's a build-up, a carryover that has regulations that you have to expend this money, and they gave us a chance and we still didn't do it, and now we lost all the $600,000. So I just hope under your leadership this doesn't happen again, Mr. Padilla. It's unfortunate because, you know, the residents are the ones who are going to pay that for that $600,000, not us. Because there's a lot of improvements that could be done over there with those $600,000. And it's unfortunate that they gave us the money was there, we didn't abide by the regulations, and we lost it. So I just hope, Mr. Mayor, that doesn't happen again. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Good point, well taken. Thank you, Commissioner.
Mr. Mayor, in the same vein here, I mean, why were we not notified that you know, every time we asked the question, it seemed to be everything was going along. Now, where did the whole thing fail? Did we fail it by not paying more attention to this, or we were not advised of the $600,000 were there? I remember in past years we weren't advised about certain things, but we caught up and got it in time. But I mean, here, how did it get to the point that we lost track of the deal? How did it get to it?
I believe at the time, we were pretty much, not quite at 600,000. I think it was, less than that when we started,
Right.
getting a handle on it. And apparently, I think the one that can probably give us a clear, answer to that, because he was on top of it, and there was some problems, I think, with the previous director, and that would be, in all fairness, Dr. Felix. I don't know if you'd like to comment on that. If you have anything to say. Well, it seemed like we were getting a handle on it. It seemed like if we fulfilled some of the expectations that they had, and according to the rules and regulations that they had at the time, that we needed to do our part, at least the housing director. If he fulfilled his obligations, then that might have been restored. And we were at that point. After that, we really didn't get quite clear on that, because we had some more serious things come up, and I believe that's why our previous director is not here with us today. But if you'd like to comment, if you have something to say to the commissioners, well, I'd appreciate it, because I didn't get the whole scope on it.
Mr. Mayor, Councilman, the situation was that we were given information, but understandably the information was, one, incorrect, imprecise, and the due diligence wasn't done. We were told some things were being done, and after we double-checked, we realized they were not being done. And then we had this phone conversation with Marta Duron from Phoenix, and she was more than willing to explain the issues and the problems that have taken place over the years, and she really brought us to the table and said, you need to fix it. So that's when we took over and monitored all the events thereafter, and we put the director on notice. He didn't come through to the degree that he should have, and I put him on 90-day performance. He didn't meet the expectations, so we let him go. But the accumulation of problems started at 16, got worse in 17, and at that point it was impossible to get that money back because of non-compliance. And I had to put another staff in there to really square with the requirements for the housing authority with Phoenix, and so we worked diligently for about 3 months and got back on track with housing. And then, but in the meantime, we had to let the director go because basically he was in over his head.
Well, but my question is, from the very beginning, was it seen that he was way over his head, or this was? I'm sorry to say I wasn't here in 2016, but I mean, was it way over his head at the time there, or how did he get there? How did he get there?
Mr. Mayor?
Okay, the only I can check, because of 2016 and before.
Right. Oh, no, but I just wanted to, let's not talk about personnel.
Right.
Okay, because we're going to get in trouble.
All right. Okay, so that goes, you can fairly say that it goes beyond this, the person that brought this director in, the problem started.
Right. And we basically took over the course correction to probably March and April. By then, the expenditures of 300,000+ for modifications to the housing had not been done, and it wasn't sufficient time to go out and get bids to do some of the improvements for ADA housing that they were requiring, so they just pulled the funds at that time. But by February, they told us, I was informed that they were going to pull the money, and there was no way we could, they gave us another month, but there's no way we could get bids in order to expend those dollars appropriately with their consent. But going forward, I can assure you that Mr. Padilla and I are working closely to make sure that next year when the dollars come in, we will do some major modifications. And we're using some dollars now to take care of 4 ADA units, and we're required to do 12, so next year we'll do the balance of those ADA units. So I can assure you that Mr. Padilla has adequate control over the situation, and that we're working together to make sure this does not happen again.
So was part of the problem said that they just didn't get the bids in order? Was that?
That was part of it. Or in a timely manner. The time constraints were big issues.
And the problem had been created way before Dr. Felix stepped in. And again, it goes to the previous city manager, it goes to the previous city attorney, that I believe when you were in my office as my secretary, I was having you kind of work on that issue, and the attorney kind of told us we couldn't get involved, and that was the knowledge that you gained helped you when you came in, but at the same time, they didn't allow us as a commissioner, as a chairman, and also as you working under me to be able to try to help that situation to get resolved. I think they protected the previous director too much, or gave him too much leeway, and he kept fumbling the ball to the point that we ended up in this situation. And when you came in, it was just a little too late to really get a handle on it. So there was some other things, issues, and again, it was also about how much influence the commissioners had to get involved under the previous city attorney. His legal, I guess, opinion was that we were limited in what we could do, and so we had to kind of let the previous city manager take responsibility, and it was supposedly his call, and he didn't do a good job doing it. That's basically the bottom line.
Mayor, Councilman Onision, we didn't realize the extent of the problem, the seriousness of the problem, until we had that conference call with the director in Phoenix that really explained explicitly what we needed to do, what was not done, and going forward, what expectations were. So we've met the expectations, and now I think the house is in order. But again, we had to deal with about $300,000 plus that should have been used for this year that we don't have access to. And HUD in Phoenix understands that and is working with us for 2019. So that there's adequate funds to do the modifications and improvements that are required.
Any other questions from the commission? Okay, thank you, Dr. Felix. Appreciate the light you shed on this issue. I guess we're at this point, and that's why there's an amended PH annual plan on the table. And if there's any other comments or any other feedback or whatever questions, if not, I'll call for the question, and all those in favor of approving the amended PH8 annual plan signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Seeing none, motion carried unanimously. And we go to number 2, consideration and possible action on housing resolution 2018-10-02, a resolution of the Board of Commissioners of the Housing Authority of the City of Nogales approving the HUD fair market rent and payment standards for fiscal year 2019 for Santa Cruz County, Arizona, for all bedroom sizes. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Second. Open for discussion. Yes, Commissioner?
Yeah, if you could give us a little explanation on this and what, obviously, I guess the numbers are going up, the rent is going up, or how's that handled?
Yes, these are formulas that Todd and Phoenix provide to us, and those numbers are, they work out on the rates for our next fiscal year based on the actual cost on materials and repairs and maintenance. Number of persons that occupy those units.
That's what it is, the federal government.
Did that answer your question,
Let
Commissioner?
me see. So I mean, the actual rents that are set by the federal government,
Yes, they are.
they send you a list, and then the actual amount each person pays, because these are subsidized,
Yes.
the government sends you the criteria there. If it's 2 people, they pay so much. If it's,
That's correct.
and it's also based on their income, or
It's based on the income, it's based on the person that will be occupying the units.
so a 1-bedroom is $566.
That's what it is.
That's going to be the new rate.
That's going to be the new rate. But
It pretty much stayed the same as it was before.
depending on the income of the various people that occupy the units, those are based for the subsidy. Some people pay nothing,
There's some people that pay absolutely zero.
yes.
Now the city does have, it goes up to 4 bedrooms. There's 4-bedroom units, or
4-bedroom units, yes.
the city does have 4-bedroom units, huh?
Yes.
Now, is in all these, is the utilities included, or they're separate?
They are included in the rent, but if they exceed the amount of the allowance for the utilities,
So all the units are individually metered,
Yes.
but they're giving an allowance for the utilities.
Yes.
So I don't know, I've never seen it. How much, maybe we have another session. How much actual money do we get? The government covers the difference. I mean, the city of Nogales get on a 1-bedroom unit that's $566. Is that what the city of Nogales gets with whatever the person pays and what the federal government pays?
Yes, they receive, in case that the tenant pays the zero, the house will receive 100%.
$566 from the government. And the utility subsidy is also paid for by the federal government?
It's paid by the employee by hand too. Yes.
And they're billed monthly, or they're billed every?
Every month, all the tenants receive their bill for the monthly.
And the federal government pays, or do we build up a supply, a surplus, and use that to pay some of the money, or all the money we get is strictly from the federal government?
It's from rents, the subsidies for different maintenance on the buildings.
And that money's used to pay the employees and
Yes.
to support the units and that. And any money extra that comes from federal government, then it's designated exactly for something, right?
Yes.
Remember, like 3 or 4 years ago, we had them where they wanted us to change the windows, that to double pane windows, all windows had to be double pane windows, and the federal government paid for that.
Yes. Yeah. We applied for grants in some cases.
And that was basically the money that was kind of lost for like, let's say, redoing the, I think they already did the roofs a while back, so I don't know, what was this money that we missed on, what was it designated for?
I don't have the information exactly, but it will probably be for various projects.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the Commissioner? Okay.
Call for the question.
Yes, seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor of approving signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Seeing none, motion carried unanimously. We go to number 3, consideration and possible action of Housing Resolution 2018-10-03, a resolution of the Board of Commissioners of the Housing Authority of the City of Nogales approving the disposal of obsolete dwelling equipment, including refrigerators, stoves, water heaters, by the Housing Authority of the City of Nogales.
So moved.
Okay, we have
Second.
approved second. Open for discussion. Yes,
Yeah.
Commissioner. Again?
Are these gonna be removed, just thrown in the dump? Or do you set them up and people can pick them up, or what happens? I mean,
We have an option of action them or just dispose of them.
now, obviously, the ones that don't work at all,
They don't work.
if they don't work at all, you just gotta get rid of them. You can't sell them to somebody and say they work, right?
No, these items don't work anymore.
Oh, everything here is items that are not functioning,
No, they don't function.
and they've been replaced, yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr.
So, any other questions or comments? Okay. So, do you already have something set in place? Are we gonna, I guess, get rid of this old obsolete equipment?
I'm gonna work with administration, see if we can do, I get in touch with the people that action city items and see if they can make an action.
So housing might get a little something out of it. Is it housing or the city that gets it?
Housing's supposed to get it.
All right. Okay, so are there any other questions, comments? Seeing none, we'll call for the question. All those in favor of approving this order, I'm sorry. Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Any nays? Seeing none, motion carried unanimously. You have our blessing to get rid of it.
Thank you.
Now we go to the director's report.
I didn't say anything to you, so I just got some notes here. The occupancy rate is 97%. That means that we have 226 units, and we have rented 220. So we have six vacant units vacant. That is for the housing. On the Section 8 program, we have 172 vouchers, and we have utilized 166. So we are at 96.5%, and HUD requires 98%, so we are a little bit below there. We had at the end of July, we had a REHAC inspection. There's one person that came over to check all the units from the housing, and there were too many deficiencies that they found. We are working on fix. We have fixed already some of them. One big one that we have is we need to change all the water heaters. But tomorrow we have a meeting with one person we had in Tucson. They scheduled the capital fund, and we're going to talk to him about how we can get some money or grants for the replace of the water heaters, because they are not in compliance with the REHAC on the rent of the water heaters.
I'm sorry, the water heaters are gas?
Yes, they're gas. And we are looking at options if we can put some electric or There was some water heaters that they don't need to burn or something. They go directly.
Because are the water heaters inside the apartments?
They are inside in the apartments and there's a little room for the water heaters and the furnace.
I have a question. Those other water heaters, I know that they go direct, but they don't really heat up the same way. They don't keep stored the water, and it's only, they're limited to a certain amount.
Yeah, they could be 30 or 40 gallons per water heater. That's the water that is running every time that they use the water.
So you're getting the higher end of it.
Yes. The second week of September, we had the audit. The auditors came up down to the Nogales housing, and they performed the audit. We just waiting for the result of that audit for fiscal year 18.
And you'll be giving us an update on all this.
Yes.
Because we want to make sure that all the commissioners, the board of commissioners are aware of what's going on, so we won't repeat any of the deficiencies we've had in recent history.
That's all I have.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate your report and the information and updates. I guess right now at this point, do you have any future agenda items that you want
Not at this
to
point,
mention? Not at this point? Okay. Commissioner's report, any commissioner report from anyone tonight? No? Would you like, Commissioner?
No, I don't have one, but I do have a future agenda item.
Okay, you want to, that way you can, that way the director can take note of it.
Okay, thank you. Bienvenido. I would like to have a discussion now that we've already gone through the concerns that HUD at the state had with us. Would like to have that discussion on having the commissioners be residents of the housing authority as it was, a proposal so that we as a commission here can look at it. Okay. That's all, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Madonna. Seeing no other business before this commission and and this meeting, I call this meeting adjourned. Thank you. We're going to take about a 5-6 minute break.
Demo's in a rush.
Go right. Viene apurado.